Hi, welcome to Mobility. My name is Lucy and I'm very much looking forward to doing some work, getting you moving and feeling a little bit more awake and a little bit more flexible today. So let's start off with our waiver. To reduce and avoid injury, you should check with your doctor before beginning any fitness program. By performing any fitness exercise, you are performing them at your own risk. The town of Aurora will not be responsible or liable for any injury or harm you sustained as a result of participating in our online fitness or the information shared on our website or social media channels. This includes emails, videos, and texts. I would like to remind you all to listen to your bodies as you do this. If something doesn't feel good, if it feels ouchy, if there's hot pain, we stop doing it. If it doesn't feel good, as you are doing it, bring it down, wait for the next exercise. We can always modify things, making things a little bit easier to work with your body. Okay, so let's listen to our bodies as we go through this. Today, we are going to do mobility and we're going to do it all seated in our chair. So taking your chair, making sure it's nice and safe and stable, and sitting down. Make sure that your feet are hip width apart. You are sitting up nice and tall on your sit bones or the bony bits at the bottom of your bottom. And we're going to take a deep breath in, expand your chest, and breathe out. And again, take a deep breath in, expand your chest, and breathe out. Now this time, if you can, place your hands around the bottom of your ribs so you can start to feel them. We can cross over if it's easier for you. And from here, I want you to breathe out and I want you to think that your hands are moving away from each other as you breathe in. And breathe out. 2 more, breathing in. Expand that rib cage and breathe out. And 1 more time, breathing in. And breathing out. Let's work a little bit on our shoulders now. So using the front of your shoulder as your reference, you're going to pull them in together. You're going to think about trying to bring the fronts of your shoulders as close in together as you can. And then you're going to open them up, pull them back. Think about squeezing your shoulder blades together. As you do this, your shoulders should not get any closer to your ears. And then we're going to come forward and we're going to come back. And we're going to add a breath in here. We're going to come forward and we're going to breathe out. And we're going to come back and we're going to breathe in. And forward, breathe out. And back, breathe in. 2 more. Let's see if we can make it a little bit bigger. Forward, breathe out. And back, breathe in. Good. From here, we're going to come up towards your ears and back down. Up towards your ears and back down. Relaxing them to the floor. Now imagine you've got really heavy weights in your hands. You're going to lift those heavy weights up towards your ears and then let them drag you back down towards the floor, lowering those shoulders as far from your ears as you can. Lifting up, squeezing up towards your ears and letting those weights pull you back down. And again, lifting up, see if you can get a little bit higher, so you can get those shoulders to touch your ears and back down. This time as you do it, try not to scrunch your neck down towards your shoulders, keeping your head nice and tall, your neck nice and long, pull up. And those heavy weights pulling you back down. 1 more time here, lifting up. And back down. Good. So this time, adding a little bit of weight to this now with the weight of our arms, we're going to float our arms up as high as they feel comfortable. Now, if you get any pinching in your shoulders, you can bring them a little lower. That is totally fine. If they're okay, we're going to float them here. And what we're going to do is little circles. We're going to go circle backwards. Circling backwards. Nice small circles to start with. Focusing in, if you're feeling any cracking, any creaking, that's okay as long as there's no pain. And then we're going to start to make those a little bit bigger. I would say to start making them feel bigger by going lower to start with, rather than making it too big up over the top. But if you can, we're going to think about as big a circles as you can, getting some movement right through the shoulders and the shoulder blades. And we're going to bring those down. Just roll those shoulders, give them a little rest. And we're going to float the arms back up. And this time we're going to bring them forward. And again, small to start, and then starting to get bigger and bigger as you can. Think about that movement coming through the top of your shoulder rather than up through your neck. Couple more here. And resting there. Nice. So this time, I want you to turn your palms towards me. Open up your fingers, give them a little bit of a stretch as well. And as you do, open up and squeeze your shoulders back. I want you to imagine that you're going to try and touch the backs of your hands together. And then collapse down. Sitting up nice and tall. Open up, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Pull those hands back as though they're trying to touch behind you. And relax. And again, open up. Getting some movement through the chest, all the way through the front of your arms. And relax. And again. Good. And relax there. We're going to make these a little bit bigger now. Float the arms up, overhead, until they get to about shoulder height. Now we're going to open up wide into the sides, keeping those fingers active. Now I want you to gather all the air in front of you, and we're going to squeeze it, and we're going to squeeze it, and we're going to squeeze it all into a big ball, making it as tight as possible. Don't let it escape. And then open up, float those arms back. Again, gathering up all that air, squeezing in, pulling it into a circle, creating a ball of air in front of you that's trying to escape the whole time, and release. 2 more of these for me. Coming in, squeeze that air, holding it, don't let it go, and release. 1 more time. As you squeeze in, feel all the muscles through the front of your chest pulling in. Your shoulder blades are pulling apart. Holding. Don't let it go. Squeeze it a little tighter and release it into the world. Good. Another nice big roll of those shoulders. They should start to be feeling a little bit looser now. We're going to stick with the shoulders for 1 more. I want you to float the arms up as high as they'll go. And then think about cutting the air as you come back down. The arms are staying as straight as you can as you float them up. Again, feel where your shoulders want to go. If one wants to go higher than the other, that is fine. If they only want to go up a little bit, that is what we're doing today. You are listening to your bodies as you do all of these exercises. As you come back this time, think about taking that hand just behind you a bit. Again, however far it feels comfortable going. And then all the way up. Coming all the way down. And back. 1 more of these. Up. And floating down. And behind you. Perfect. Okay. We're going to work a little on your wrists and your hands. So we're going to take one hand, support it with your other one. And all I want you to do is have your fingers as flat as you can. You're going to bring your palm down towards the floor. You're going to take it up and over. So you might find that this movement is not very big. And that is okay. You're just working with whatever motion feels comfortable. And as you go through, you may find that you get a little bit more movement. Good. We'll do 1 more here. Just thinking about moving right at the wrist. And we're going to switch hands. Supporting the other elbow. You can also do this with your elbow on a table, if you have one close by. Tucking down and up and over. And tucking down and up and over. One hand may have more movement in it than the other one. Again, that's totally fine. We're working to get them as symmetrical as possible, but they may not start there. Good. We're going to do 2 more here. And last one. Good. Bringing those down. We're going to do a nice big wrist circle. So keeping the forearm straight, circling round with the wrist. One way. And then we're going to circle around the other way. Here, a couple in each direction. You might find all kinds of things clicking and crunching in here. It's okay as long as there is no pain. Now we're going to do the other way one more time. And back. And staying with this hand, we're going to open up all the fingers, pull them apart as wide as they'll go, and then squeeze them all in together, thumb as well. Open them up wide, make your hand as big and as wide as you can, and then squeeze them all back in together. And open them up. Squeeze them back in, open them up, squeeze back in, and last one, open up, and squeeze back in. Beautiful. I'm going to switch over to the other hand. Again, nice big circles around, all the way around one way. Good. Trying to keep the arm nice and still, and just moving at the wrist, and then we're going to go back around the other way. One way may feel a little bit easier than the other. Mine doesn't like going this way. There we go. Good. And then back around the other way. And back around the first way. Good. And holding that hand there, bringing it up. And reach the fingers apart, making that palm as wide as you can, spreading those fingers. Squeeze it all back in, thumb as well. And open up. Pull the fingers apart, make your palm as wide as you can. Squeeze them together, thumb as well. Good. Good. Two more for me. Last one. Good. And rest there. We're going to stay with the hands for just a second. We're going to bring both palms down onto your legs. Have your feet flat on the floor. And all I want you to do now is, with your fingers slightly apart, is think about pushing your palms down and lifting your fingers a little bit up off of your knees and back down. Lift them up just a little bit and back down. And as you do this, you might find that your fingers don't lift very much at all. That is not a problem, but we're trying to get them as straight as you can and get a little bit of movement into the fingers that tend to be a little bit forgotten in our mobility work. One more for me. Good. And resting there. Give those hands a little bit of a wiggle. Perfect. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take one arm, and again, active fingers, we're going to pull it across in front of you. Now, you can place your hand underneath your elbow, but I don't want you to pull in too hard, okay? You're going to get the muscles of the inside of your arm to squeeze across, and this hand is here just to support you. You should feel a nice stretch, through the back of the arm and through the back of the shoulder. We're just going to hold it here for a second. And then let that one go. And then using all the muscles through here, we're going to pull this arm across. Support it with this hand. It's not pulling you in. Think about these muscles trying to pull you that little bit further. Holding it, nice active hand. Perfect. And relax. Good. Nice big wiggle of the shoulders. Okay, we're going to move on and work and do a little bit of mobility through your spine and your trunk section. Okay, so we're going to start sitting up nice and tall. And we're going to slouch through your middle. Think about slouching down as much as you can. Then you're going to bring your chest forward towards the floor. Then you're going to lift that chest up and coming back to seated. You're going to slouch down. Bring the chest forward towards the floor. Lift the chest towards the front of the room and sitting back up. Think about it almost being a circle. Slouch down and up. 2 more of these. Then if you can round down a little bit more, slouch a little bit more each time. Down and up. 1 more. Slouch, slouch, slouch. Forward, lift, and up. Good. Now, sitting up nice and tall, take your hands and cross them across your chest. We're going to do circles. We're going to go forward, to the side, to the back, and round. If it feels a little bit challenging with the hands crossed, you can bring your hands onto your knees for a little bit of support. But try and think of the muscles in your tummy, your sides, and your back being the ones that pull you around rather than pushing into your hands. We'll do 2 more this way. 1 more. And then from here, we're going to reverse and we're going to go the other way. Nice big circles. Again, if you need to, bring your hands onto your legs to give it a little bit of support, but try not to push around with the hands. Make all the muscles in your middle do the work. Try and make the circle a little bit bigger as you can. Again, if it doesn't feel comfortable, make it smaller. We'll have a rest. We'll do 1 more here. Good. Perfect. All right, sitting up nice and tall. What I'm going to do now is work down the side here. So you're going to have your hand on your chair just for some stability. And you're going to reach your rib towards your hip. Slide your hand down the side of the chair. I want you to think about these muscles pulling you down. And then as you come back up, think about these guys pulling you back up to center. Tighten the muscles on the side, pull you down. These guys get to relax. And then these are going to pull you back up again. And again, coming down. See, you might get a little bit lower. Make sure that the hip on the other side doesn't lift. You're staying super stable on that chair through the whole time of this. And you might find that as you do it, you start to be able to side bend just that little bit lower. If not, that's okay too. Good. And coming back up to seated. And we're going to do the other side. So this hand is here, just as a little bit of support if you need it. Slide the hand down towards the floor, tightening the muscles in this side. And then using these to pull you back up again. Again, we are not rocking over on the seat. You stay super stable through your hips. Your bottom stays glued to the seat. As you get down there, tighten the muscles on this side that little bit more to see if they can pull you a little bit further. Good. I'm going to do a couple more of these. tighten, pull. And up, remembering to breathe and down. Perfect. And back up. Good. We're going to stay with this trunk middle section, and we're going to go into a rotation, crossing your hands across your chest. Feet nice and stable, hip width apart. Again, keeping your hips still. And we are going to turn to look behind you. Imagine you're reversing in a car. When you get down there, I want you to try and look a little bit further by using the muscles in your waist to pull you around a little bit more. I'm going to hold it for a second, and then we're going to come back. So all the time, we are thinking about the muscles in your middle, pulling you around. And then when you get there, asking them to tighten that a little bit more. See if we can get that tiny bit further. Holding it for a second. And coming back. And again, we've got 2 more of these. What you might find is that as you go around, each time you get a little bit further. As the muscles in your middle start to wake up and feel safe. Holding for the last one. Bring it back round. Nice big swiggle. And cross those hands again. We're going to go the other way. So, nice and tall, tummy tight. Think about those muscles pulling you around to look over your shoulder as though you're reversing the other way. When you get there, tighten those tummy muscles, make them pull you a little bit further. And bring them back to center. Again, hips stay nice and still. We are moving through your waist. Holding, tightening, and back round. Brace through the waist, turning, turning, holding. Squeeze it a little bit more if you can. And back round. We do 1 more of these on this side. Tighten, tighten, turning, turning. Hold. Tighten that a little bit more. And come back to center. Beautiful. Good. So we're going to get a little length through your lower back now. And we're also going to open up through your hips. So we're going to take your feet a little bit wider. Okay. And from here, keeping your back nice and straight, we are going to hinge forward. So I want you to imagine that you're moving through your hip and not slouching through your back here. So your back stays up nice and tall. Imagine you've got a nice rod down through your back. And as you come forward, you're going to send your chest and your nose forward. Notice that my back stays nice and straight here. And then it comes back up through the hip. So feet wide of your seat. Hands crossed across your chest. Nice and stable on your chair. And from here, hinge forward. Back nice and straight. Keep the knees out wide. You should feel a little bit of a stretch and a work in those hips. And then come back. Reaching forward. Nose is coming over toes. Back is super straight. Knees are out. Holding it for a second. Feel that stretch in the inner thigh. And some work in down your spine. And come back. And again. Holding. You may get a little bit lower each time. That's good. And back up. We're going to do 3 more of these. Knees wide, chest forward, nose straight forward. Holding, and back. 2 more. Knees wide, hinging forward. Back is nice and straight and flat. Feeling in the inner thighs. Bring it back up. And last one here. Holding for a second. And relax. Good. Give those legs a little bit of a wiggle. Shoulders a little bit of a wiggle. Alrighty. Let's focus on those legs now. One leg out straight for me. Other foot nice and stable. You may need to scoot forward and sit on the front of your chair so you've got some nice movement through the back of your leg. So heel is going to stay on the floor. And all I want to do to start with is point your toe down towards the floor and think about pointing through your ankle. You can point with your toe, but if you find that it's cramping up through your foot, then just relax and wiggle those toes a little bit. So lengthening through the front of that leg. Now pull your ankle up towards your knee. And feel that stretch through the back of the calf and up through, a little bit through the back of the knee. And then pointing away. And turn sideways so you can see this a little better. Pointing down. See how my toes are still relaxed, but I'm nice and flat through my ankle. And then pulling my ankle up, keeping my heel on the floor and trying to get my ankle and my toes, if I can, to pull up towards my knees. Holding for a second and then back down. And again, as you do this, you might find that you can come up that little bit more. A little bit higher. We can bring those toes into it a bit more. And this is a great one to do as we head into times when we're going to have winter boots. And our ankles get a little bit stiff when they've been contained in our boots. Last one. Yeah. Good. We're going to stay on this leg. Now we've woken up around the ankle, we're going to wake up and lengthen from the top of your leg as well. We're going to get a little bit more of a stretch up through the muscles, the backs of your legs or your hamstrings. So this time, foot is a little bit relaxed. Heel is still on the floor. You're going to sit up super tall. You're going to have a little bit of a lift up through the ankle, pulling the toes up towards your knees. And then as you do, you are going to hinge forward, just like we did in that last activity. We're not rounding forward. We are hinging, sending your chest forward. I don't want you to reach towards your toes. I want you to think that you are trying to lie towards your leg. If you get there, awesome. If not, then we're going to work towards getting that little bit further each time. We're going to sit back up, let the leg go back down. Pull those toes up, sit up super tall, hinge forward. As you do that, you should feel an increased stretch coming right up to underneath your bottom, into the back of the knee, and all the way down through to the back of your heel. Holding it for a second, sitting back up, letting the leg go. Couple more for me. Sitting tall, hinging forward. Again, noticing as you are getting that little bit further each time. Make sure there is no pain. Stretching should never be painful. And back up. And on the last one, we're going to focus on something a little different. As you pull your toes up, sitting up nice and tall, hinge forward. And now I want you to think about trying to relax the front of your leg as much as you can. Relax it. Relax the knee. Relax all the muscles that hold the knee in place. Holding it for a second and come back up. Good. Give that leg a little bit of a wiggle. And we're going to take the other one out. So starting with just the lower leg, focusing on the ankle, reaching forward, lengthening through the front of the ankle, pointing your toes if it feels comfortable to do so. And then lifting up through the ankle and pulling your toes up towards your knees if you can. Leg stays nice and straight. Other foot is very supportive. Reach away. And then up. Think about trying to drive your heel forward, pulling the toes up towards your knees, getting as much of a stretch up through the back of the lower leg as you can. Good. We're going to do one more of these. Reaching away. And coming back up. Holding it here for a second. Pull those toes up. Good. And relax. So this time, bringing that hinge into it, thinking it's through the hips, pulling the toes up slightly. Sitting up out of your seat, hinging forward. Leg is nice and straight. Holding it for a second, feeling that stretch all the way down through the back of the leg, back of the calf. And coming back up. Pulling the toes up, sitting up tall, hinging forward. Holding for a second. Coming back up. Again, feeling if you're getting any more movement through there. Can you go a little bit further? Good. Holding. Coming back up. Last time, just like before, sitting up. This time, focus and see if you can relax through the front of your leg. We're still pulling up through the toes. See if you can relax the knee through the upper part of your leg. And relax there. Good. So this time, we're going to bring your knee, holding your hands underneath your thigh. You're going to bring your knee up towards your chest. Hold it for a second and bring it back down. Bring the knee up towards your chest. Hold it for a second and bring it back down. The wider you take it, it may feel a little bit more comfortable. And back down. Squeeze in. Use your hands to guide you. They are doing a little bit of work at pulling in, but only as far as your hip feels comfortable to do. If it feels comfortable to do it, you can do this without any help from your leg. Sorry, without any help from your hands, or use your hands to add a little bit of support. One more for me. Good. And the other side. Again, sitting up nice and tall, lifting the leg up, hands behind the thigh, pulling in. Holding it for a second, and down. Pulling in, holding for a second. Again, no pain, just a feeling of everything kind of stretching through the back of that hip. And down. And again, lift, squeeze in. And again, it doesn't matter how high you get this knee. If it only just moves off the floor to here, that is fine. If it comes all the way up, and that feels comfortable, and we'll take it there. One more for me. Driving that knee up towards the ceiling, squeeze in. And down. Lovely. I'm going to give you two options on this one. If your hips are okay and they feel comfortable and able to do this, you're going to cross your leg all the way over. If that doesn't feel comfortable, you're going to take the leg a little bit longer and you're just going to cross at the ankle or the lower leg. Okay? So from here, you're going to pull the knee over towards the other side of your body and turn away. And you should feel a stretch down the side of your hip here as you do that. If you have your legs crossed, same thing, holding your thigh, not your kneecap, and pulling it towards your opposite side and turning. And again, feeling a nice big stretch through the middle of your bottom and down the side of your leg. Holding it for a second here. And let it go. And the same thing. Pulling the side of your leg over towards your opposite side and turning, getting that stretch into the side of your hip here. Holding for a couple of seconds and release. We'll do the other side. So again, if you can cross over this one, holding onto the thigh, pulling across, holding. Remembering to breathe as you do this, relaxing your shoulders and release. And same thing again. If it doesn't feel comfortable, we're just going to go here. Getting that same stretch but not putting any strain onto the hip or the knee as you're doing it. Feeling it through the outside of your hip here. Holding for a second again. And release. Good. Perfect. From here, we're going to turn slightly sideways on your chair. So you've got a little bit of movement from the knee. And we're going to bring your knee down. Now, if you can, you're going to hold on to your ankle. And come to here. If this does not feel comfortable, all I want you to do is to think about trying to lift your foot a little bit off the floor. You can come onto tippy toes. You should feel a stretch in the front of that knee. Running up the front of your leg here. I'm going to hold this for a second and then back down. Coming up onto your toes. Feeling a stretch just through the front here. And back down. If you do want to make it more challenging, taking that foot and pulling it up towards your bottom. That's going to increase that stretch. Only do this if it feels totally comfortable on the knee and on the ankle that you're holding. And release. We're going to stay in this position. We're going to take your foot further back and your toes are going to stay on the floor this time. And from here, you are going to try and push your hip forward. Still totally supported by the chair on the other side. If that feels okay, you're going to cross your hands across it. You're going to lean away from it. As though you're leaning towards the back of your chair. And that should increase that stretch in the front of your hip here. Pushing the hip forward. Leaning away. Holding it for a second. Bring it back. And one more time. Push the foot back. Push the hip forward. Lean away. This can be a challenging position to get into. So if it doesn't feel comfortable, don't worry. You can join back in on the next one. Coming here for me, we're going to turn yourself around. Again, sitting on the edge of your chair. One knee is down. Making sure you are super stable here. And coming up onto your toe. And just getting a little bit of a stretch through the front of the quad there. If that feels totally comfortable, you can bring it into a quad stretch here. But this is good and challenging enough. Relax. And then take it back for me. Relaxing the front of the leg, feeling that stretch coming up all the way from the front of the knee. Good. And relax. This time, taking that foot a little bit further back. Pushing your hip forward, hands across, lean away. Holding for a second, and back up. One more time. Push the leg back, push the hip forward, lean away. And relax there. Good. Okay. Coming now to a seated position. And we're going to do nice, big ankle rolls. I want you to think that the upper part of your leg is staying still. We are rolling through your ankle, not through your whole leg. This is still, ankle is moving. Big circles, as big as feels comfortable in one direction. And we're going to reverse it. Nice big circles in the opposite direction. Big, 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 big. You may feel some cracking and crunching again. long as it's not painful. And you can control the movement. Oh my God. Coming onto the other side again, nice big circles with that ankle. Keeping the upper leg nice and still. Big rotations with the ankle. Couple more this way. And reverse it. Good. Last one. Perfect. Having your legs out straight, nice and stable on your chair. I'm going to pull your toes up ever so slightly towards your knees, and then keeping the legs still, I want you to turn a little bit at your ankles so your feet are facing each other. And then pivot on those ankles, and then they're going to have a little argument and turn away from each other. They're going to come in and face each other and turn away from each other. As you do, you're feeling the muscles on the inside of your leg pulling your feet in. And then the muscles through the outside of your leg pulling your feet back out again. This is a movement that may be a little challenging to do the first couple of times, but as you do it more, it starts to become a little bit easier. And last one, turning in and turning out. Perfect. With your feet firmly on the floor, I want you to imagine that your feet are caterpillars and they are going to slowly caterpillar forward. And then you're going to see if you can caterpillar them back, tucking the toes under and pushing you back. Just getting a little bit of movement through all the joints in the toes and of the toes and in the bottom of your foot. Again, feet nice and flat. Get your toes. Use your toes to caterpillar forward. And pushing back. Good. Perfect. Sitting up nice and tall. Take a deep breath in for me. And as you do, I want you to roll down. Think about tucking your chin, giving yourself a bit of a double chin. Rolling down. And then think about rolling through your mid-back. Relaxing your shoulder blades. Rolling all the way down as if you're melting towards the floor. Slouching through your tummy. And then you're going to stack yourself back up. Unwind. Coming up. Head is going to be the last thing that comes up. Roll the shoulders back. Bring your chin back up. And again for me. Tuck that chin. Give yourself a double chin. Feel it lengthening down the back of your neck. And then round the shoulders. Slouching down through your mid-back. Slouch through your tummy. Slouch through your hips. Melting, melting. And then slowly, slowly unmelt, unwind. Back up, shoulder blades. Bring the chin back up. One more time. As you do this, think about breathing out nice and slowly the whole time. Breathing out as you tuck your chin. Breathing out, rounding down through the shoulders, the mid-back, the belly, slouching through the hips. And then as you come back up, breathing in, filling the belly, filling the ribs, filling up the shoulders, chin up, and relax for me. Hands nice and active, palms facing me. Open up, pull your shoulders back, relax, and collapse forward. This time I'm going to add your breath into that. Breathe in. Open up, open the hands, open the chest, open the shoulders. Breathe out. Collapse down. Breathing in. Open up. Holding for a second. Breathe out and relax. One more time. Big breath in. Open. Hold it. And relax. Nice big roll through your shoulders. And a big wiggle. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoy the mobility class and that you have a wonderful day. And I will see you next time. Take care.